What is up, everyone? What's up, Nuts?
Yo, yo, yo.
There he is. Not out and about. Are you at the car wash right now? What do you got going on over there?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I need this voice isolation on, but it's not working. I
Well,
don't know.
hey, back for another stream here, a little midweek market update. Shout out to Vista Shares. They have AIS, OMAH, Omaha? Omaha? We'll talk about that here in a minute. Let me throw it up on the screen. There's Vista Shares, Omaha. We'll talk about that here in a minute. This one's really interesting because it's got Warren Buffett themed ETF here for some investing stuff. But we'll talk about that more in a moment. I kind of want to talk about the markets. Let me go to a daily chart here. We'll go ahead and throw it up, and it's a big green day. Big green day. How about that?
Okay, it might be a big green day, but there has been a lot of headlines today jolting us up and jolting us down. It has been a crazy market today.
Yeah, I think there's like, if you're a trader, I think there's a little bit of everything. I mean, there was five solid, I think at least solid setups this morning. Um, Upside, downside here. Let me throw QQQ up here on the screen. I mean, we obviously gapped way up. This was like kind of that news this afternoon that or yesterday afternoon. Basically, Trump came out, said, "How's safe?" That was the gist of it, I guess. It was obviously more wordy than that, but Pal's safe. And then there was positive comments about China, which we've now heard some kind of negative ones again. It's been so back and forth. It's almost exhausting at this point. Now it's like the news, like just I feel like the market's reacting like this much less to each headline. Do you feel the same way? Like news exhaustion is starting to kind of hit this market?
Yeah, so I would say I do kind of feel the same way. I mean, just for example, last night we had China news. This morning we had China news. I feel like it was almost the same reiteration, just a little different wording, a little different on the numbers. But again, same exact thing. And again, market reacted. But I feel like like it's hard to say because I feel like overall, it, I'm trying to think of the best way to put it, but it is reacting a little bit less. And of course, yes, don't get me wrong, we're getting 2-3% moves. But intraday, when we're getting our news, yes, we're getting our spikes, we're getting our drops. But I mean, overall, if you just keep replaying and switching back back and forth, it is going to get a little old. And yes, it will have its move still, but they're going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. And in reality, I mean, with these massive jolts, whether there's news or not, I mean, one day you're green, one day you're red 3%. It's just over and over and over. Today we got to 3% and basically are decently flat. Um, After an initial push up, we are starting to come back in after some news. And we obviously had some news, especially again, so many headlines today as a trader. You could add so many different opportunities to go long and short. So just being vigilant, being sizing appropriately, and trying to time those entries to the best of your ability, because you never know when news is going to come out. Making sure you have a stop, set is going to be key in a market like this with this volatility and the unexpected, or I guess at this point, expected headlines.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's you got to be nimble, right? You got to adjust quickly. For me, like on my trades, I've been taking profit a lot quicker on the day trade, especially on the futures. Just instead of trying to get these longer directional moves like I normally do, I've had to be a lot more aggressive with my profit taking, and really haven't had to change the sizing much. I've been staying size small just because the you don't need a whole lot of size with this volatility. You get 120, 200 point candles each direction. It's wild, it's wild. But yeah, to your point here, so we did gap up. I want to look at the daily here a little bit real fast. Let me turn this music down just a smidge, as they say, just a smidge. Of course, if you're watching this live and you jump in the comments, let us know you're here. Let us know what you're watching, what you're trading, any tickers that you're looking at. I would love to take a look at those. But now I just kind of want to go through the different indices, the market here a little bit on the daily chart, just to kind of see where we're at since last Wednesday. So we are higher than last Wednesday. I think actually we did it on Thursday last week, but basically the same thing. The biggest thing to me is this big candle right here that was, a massive update. We're still within that. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days now. This is the ninth day we've been inside of this one candle. So we should get a move out of this at some point, but major consolidation going on. This is the 200-day moving. I mean, I'm sorry, the 20-day moving average right here. You can see it was resistance. We tried to get over here and we fell, but resistance here, resistance here, resistance here, resistance here. It's basically four rejections. Now today's low of day, sitting on top of it, is a decent watch. I mean, it's a decent look. Now, if we lost this, I would definitely look to short this gap fill. But as long as we hold this area, which is like 453-ish on QQQ, honestly, I think that's a decent look for, trying to push up a little bit higher. SPY, and I've got a similar thing. We're sitting on the 50-day right now. We did wick below it, but we're sitting right on it right now. I would still want to target this candle high. I want this candle high to get tested. Maybe we get up into this area and then reject. But for now, it seems like we're floating back up. Just the dead cat bounce. It's slow, but it's just in general from where we were 2, 3 weeks ago. We're working our way back up, probably into this higher consolidation area. Where's our daily EMAs at? Yeah, there's the 21,
Yeah,
almost
we're
exactly the
just over the
same.
21 on the Qs.
And look, the daily nine. Now, this daily nine, this is on SPY. You can see it was resistance multiple times. We tried to hold it and came back through it. Resistance, resistance, resistance yesterday at the highs. Now we're over it. So a back test of that and a hold would also look pretty good. 530-ish, maybe, if it takes another day or two for a push higher. Obviously, if you fell that, if you fell right where we're at, I think you go try to fill the gap the next day or two. So we'll have to see what happens. News could be, who knows? News is crazy right now. QQQ is kind of the same way over the daily nine, uh, daily 21, flattening out right here where we're trading at right now. Even if we close here or higher, I think it looks like a decent move. Um, let's go take a look at small cap land. I am keeping my eyes on the market over here, by the way, guys.
Ooh, I got a
This
good one for
15-minute
you.
chart. Boom, boom, boom. What you got?
GLD.
Okay, yeah. So this is a trade that I holding. I actually trimmed a little bit more today at 400%. Um, Let me pull up this daily chart. So GLD, this is gold, spot gold. This is I mean, this is crazy, right? Look at this insane move here. And I mean, just gapping, 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 gapping. I mean, I can throw on regular gold. You can see the futures since they trade more hours. You can see, just look at this. Even on this pullback, immediately flew back up. Um, I shorted this yesterday, or yeah, at the open yesterday. So I was up here. I shorted this. I just figured with some positive news, it was way overextended. So I was looking for this gap fill to 308 first. Yesterday they were already up 120%, but you see this bearish engulfing on off this daily. You see this bearish engulfing. I was looking for a gap to here. Obviously, the news helped accelerate this move down. My next spot that I was looking for was down here at like 300 basically, which is basically where we got to. It's where I trimmed out most of my position, just down to a runner on this. But there's still gap. I mean, there's gaps all over this chart, right? Knots, are you have you been trading gold any, or are you looking at this? What are your thoughts?
So I have some silver, um, not physical. Uh, I have I have
Silver
silver.
chart looks so different too. Look at silver's
It
chart.
does. It's actually good today. Funny enough, it's actually bull flagging just broke out, which is funny enough. And that's kind of why I brought that up too. But going back to the gold, I was looking at this and I'm thinking, okay, we're sitting on the 9 on the daily. On my end, we have an algo trend line here going all the way back to middle of March, riding across, making a support right at that 9. I honestly, personally think I could take a trade here for long. I mean, what? We're down 20 points from the high? No, 15 points from the high. Okay. I don't think gold's done personally. We had a, I mean, what, 15-point gap, sorry, 8-point gap down, 9-point gap down. Um, and I think sitting above the 9, if we lose a 21, yeah, I'd be out. Okay. But start my position here for maybe 2 months out on calls and kind of play like that. What are your kind of thoughts on that? I know you're still in a short, so it's kind of conflicting, but
Yeah, so my short was a short-term short, just to be clear on that. If I go to a higher time frame, like a weekly chart here, I mean, yeah, I shorted this for gap back down on the based on the daily chart and just overextended. I mean, even your weekly RSI at 80 is super overextended, but we talked about this a little bit on space earlier. With gold, you have here, let me go to a monthly chart. Maybe you can see it a little bit easier. Look at this cup and handle breakout. This right here, this goes back to 2011. So you essentially have, a 12, 14 year consolidation that set this up. You also had, look at the highs here on the monthly. This is 2020, 2022, 2023, and then we finally broke out of it in about this time last year in 2024. So this is a massive breakout on this chart from building up for years. That's why when I'm looking at it, I'm seeing like, okay, you have a technical breakout that, I mean, it's getting overextended, yes, but it's still on a high time frame. It's breaking out. You also have the inflationary recessionary fears that are driving this. Plus, it's just been trading like crazy while the market's pulling back. It's been flying. So it's like you have three areas of bullishness kind of going into this. So once again, I traded it yesterday at the open. Covered most of it, covered half of it, covered a little bit more on those puts. I took 308 puts, so I'm deep in the money now. So I'm just holding the runner just to see if we can get down a little bit further. If I go to this 15-minute chart, you can see there's a gap back here from like a week ago that we haven't filled quite yet. Right there, 299, so just under 300. So this area is what I would ultimately like to see, and I'll close it out. We do look like we kind of have a bear flag here, by the way, on the 15-minute. That's interesting.
possibly. Possibly.
What's up,
Interesting.
boys?
What's up, Evan?
Oh,
You want to
Evanito.
walk right? You on a hot girl walk right now, Gio?
Yeah, I keep muting on muting because it won't let me do voice isolation.
Evan, what are you up to?
Just finished recording the GigaCast with the guys. How to get that going? We're trying to get that out today. Mets game on in the background. Shout out, shout out. Besides that, I
There you
saw
go.
Neuralink starting to raise a little bit of money. OpenAI, they're projecting some big revenue stocks. So interesting day in the stock market, though. We obviously got those headlines last night about like China and Powell and maybe some of the worst fears being off the table. And then obviously at some point there was going to be a headline that took us the other way, and we got it. I haven't looked at the market in the last hour, though. I can
Uh,
see the
Yeah, so
screen.
we've recovered. Here's QQQ. We've recovered decently. Um, you can see this is where we opened right here. So I can throw this on here and you kind of see this zero line. The red line right here is where we opened basically this area. And of course, our high of days of that first hour. We did pull back a little bit on that news and it really came crashing down. And then, I mean, buyer stepped in. You see these bottom wicks. Buyer stepped in. This is a 15-minute chart. You see a big hammer candle down here at the low. And then now you're kind of bull flagging your way back up. I mean, we're up 3% on the day on QQQ. So, I mean, you look at where we came from yesterday. We never even got close to back testing yesterday's highs. If anything, this after hours, after the news came out, we came back and kind of back tested that area. So that was, if you're looking for some confluence, SPY came a little bit lower here. But yeah, that news you see right when it came out yesterday that you were mentioning there, Evan. So yeah, market's up, market's still looking good. VIX is down. You see VIX gap down. It basically filled the gap in a way right there, touched previous day's low, and just came straight back down, staying under 30. It's a pretty good look on the VIX actually for some confluence there. Tesla, of course, had earnings yesterday. The earnings were nothing really to talk about. I think if anything, this is more of a um, I mean, Elon kind of refocusing a little bit, maybe help some, but I think this is more overall market than anything.
I am curious. Anyone
But
in the
yeah,
live
Teslas
chat,
are
if you
up.
guys are listening to this on X, say something in the chat. I want to, or anywhere. Just I wanna see you guys. If you have any stocks you want us to look at, feel free. But I see Lily in there.
Yeah, yeah, Lily coming in the chat. Anybody else, like I was saying earlier, yeah, if you've got any tickers you want to look at, let us know what you're trading. If you're trading something today, or if you bought something, if you were trimming out something, whatever you're doing, let us know what you're doing in the market. We'll take a little peek at it. But yeah, Tesla are our biggest. I look at top 10 of QQQ rather than Mag 7, so I'll just call it tech in general. Even though Costco's kind of in that bucket too. But Tesla up big today, 8.4%. The numbers weren't good, but maybe Elon and some sentiment helping this a little bit. Plus, just the overall market definitely helping. Broadcom is up nicely today. The chips have kind of been lagging. So here's SMH. SMH is up 5% today. They've been lagging. If we go to the daily chart, Simi's a little bit lower than the rest of QQQ. We really need our leader back in the market because we really don't have one right now. But I've been watching that. Been watching NVIDIA. NVIDIA wasn't really participating very well this morning. If you look at that, look at NVIDIA's chart here, just kind of sideways, and it's consolidating, but just kind of sideways while you see some of the other tech names in the overall indice um, going going up, right? So like you look at this NVIDIA chart compared to a QQQ chart, it's a much different story, much different story as it freezes up on me. There we go.
Em, let's
There we go.
let's
Yeah.
pull up Palantir. I know everyone is talking about that. I know it's actually, honestly, have been holding up pretty well compared to the rest of the market. Yes, it's had its downturns, but back over 100. Is it still there? Hold on, let me double check.
Yeah, it's at
Yes, it is
102.
102.
So I've got it on the screen here. So Palantir, and you talk about relative strength. I mean, look at how far the market's pulled back, and then look at this chart. So we never even got to a 200-day. We're well below the 200-day moving average on most. I would say most stocks, especially most tech stocks. Obviously on the indices, SPY and QQQ, but Palantir above all of its moving averages, pushing away and back up. I mean, it's kind of filling a gap here, but back at 102. How far are we off the highs? We are
Highs are like
18%.
126, 127. Yeah.
Yeah, 18% off the highs here, but off the recent low, I mean, Palantir got down into the 60s, mid 60s here. That's a 54% move on Palantir. And this is in the last 11 trading days. So just over 2 weeks. This is a 54% move on Palantir. That's crazy. Nuts, you have I know you've been in Palantir since basically the inception of it, I guess, but not maybe not that far back, but you've been a Palantir bull for a long time, and what are your thoughts around how resilient this name's being right now?
Yeah, it is being really resilient. I'll be honest. I took out over three-quarters of my position when it got into the hundreds because in reality, it shouldn't be valued that high. Love the company, love what they're doing, love the growth, love the contracts. But as a long-term investor, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have. It all depends on who you are. Technically, but valuation-wise, it doesn't make sense at 100. And I do have some shares still going. Um, but if we dip back down, and let's say this market takes a turn, or just Palantir itself takes a turn, um, I'm a buyer. If it does it under 50, I'm a buyer under 60. Um, I nibble in the 60s, but yeah, valuation wise, I think it's way too high, and I know a lot of people kind of agree with me. But chart wise, I mean, the resiliency is just insane compared to the other market. And like you said, most of the tech names are under their 200-day. We're right at it, and Palantir is nowhere near it.
Yeah, I mean, even as a like we were talking about some high beta names earlier. This is one of the one that keeps coming up. Just things that are like super tradable too. So like, yeah, it's tough to buy up here from a valuation standpoint. But if you're looking for a swing trade or yeah, or even a day trade, but a swing trade as well, you could even equity on this. There's a lot of ways to get this, but uh, when you have a name like this, it's this strong, this resilient. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of people like you that were probably in this name lower that trimmed out some and maybe other people that didn't have a chance to get in, they were like, hey, we need to start getting in this name. I'm looking at the weekly chart here. We didn't even get close to the 50-week moving average on the daily. We didn't even make it down to the 200-day, and I mean, just flying 50% to the upside is crazy. A lot of opportunities there. Nuts. I like that one. We got a couple people in the chat here. Here's the Nancy name, Tempest AI. This thing is just stuck consolidating right here. Your volume point of control at 47. When did Nancy get in this name? I can't remember I bet I could
I
probably
want to
see
say
it.
off
I
the top
Probably
of
can't.
my
right
head it
here.
was in December.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
beginning of the year or late end of year.
So probably one of these pops. Maybe that one's too far back.
It
So
was. It
probably
was.
somewhere. Maybe
You'll
this
see a
gap up
big
is in
gap up.
January.
Yeah, you'll see a big gap up. Yes.
So it's probably this right here in January when she got in. Which she's probably positioned down in the mid 30s. She's up almost double
No,
if
that's
she
when she
didn't.
filed to get in, by the way. So that's when it was made public. She bought a month before that.
Yeah. So she could have bought anywhere in this area. But either way, like I'm looking at this on the daily, the volume point of control, 47. You're pushing through. I mean, look at this large candle straight through the 200-day moving average. You're above the 20-day, the 50-day still your overhead here, but I mean, you're kind of trying to break the downtrends in a way. I don't know enough about this company to really, and I've heard some good things about it, but I think it's still like in its infancy a little bit. So, if anything, I think you're playing this like based on Nancy, right? I mean, I don't, I mean, I know there's some other factors to it, but I think a lot of people are trading this name just because it's a Nancy Pelosi name. I don't know what you guys think about that, but that's the main arguments I hear. That is a 17% move today, though. Wow. And still pushing. Look at this. Still at the highs of day. But I want to look at this on the 15-minute. Yeah, look at that. This thing looks like it wants to go higher today. Look at this thing didn't even blink on that pullback on the market. Good name there. I definitely want to keep an eye on this because, like, if you're looking for something to trade and get, I mean, obviously it's up 17% today, so it's a little late for now. But whenever the market does have like positive movements, I mean, some of these names that have done very well in the past, they're the kind of the first ones you really see flying. I mean, this is an example. We just talked about PLTR being an example, so I like that. I definitely need to. Knots, have you ever traded that one?
Sorry, I was unmuting.
Knots.
No, I haven't. I looked at it the day of the report, the filing, but it was already way up for me. So
Yeah. All right, I want to go through a couple more charts here as we have requests. I see NVO. NVO, Novo Nordisk. Boy, that's not a good looking chart. This is one of those things where you'd have to run the fundamentals. I would definitely want to ask some of our maybe some of our guys on Stocks on Spaces that are in more in this this sector that look at these things, but I, it's hard for me to get excited about a chart that looks like this. You know, nowhere near any historical lows. I mean, making new lows. Uh, maybe you have this shelf to come off of. I mean, it's not a bad spot to come off of. You kind of see this. Where's my fancy little thing here? Oh, wrong button. This right here. You have this volume shelf here. That makes it interesting to me in a way. It was you held above that, but boy, these A-frame charts are always scary for me to try to get long. I mean, if you were this consolidation area way back here from 2022, that would be your area. If you're looking to like, if you're bullish this company and you like what they do, I do like this area now that I see that. But boy, that's just tough. You're so far sold off. Like, what's the I just think what's your positive catalyst other than this thing's super sold off. The chart, boy, the chart's tough. At least you came off of a volume shelf, a historical volume shelf there. Not to do you get any thoughts on Nova Nordis? I mean, I see these prior highs in this big consolidation area here.
so I just got back into the house. I'm about to pull up my computer. I can't really see it from your phone. I see the level you're saying that past resistance now act or should act as a support, and you can see on the right side there the volume. Kind of relating to that. Um, why can't I make this bigger? All right, let me just get to my computer. Hold on 1 second.
But yeah, this is interesting. I mean, in a way, now that I see this consolidation, it's an interesting area. Maybe even down in 52 area would be a little bit stronger where that volume point of control is from, the historical, but super sold off. When I see a chart that looks like this, it's tough for me to think that anything other than a dead cat bounce is going to happen. That's just the way I look at this and I see something like this happening. So I mean, a short-term trade maybe, but that's kind of my thoughts on that one.
Okay. Just got my computer open. Give me a second.
Well, while you're getting that set up, Evan, are you still around? I don't know what Evan's doing over there. I do want to shout out Vista Shares. This OMAH
Omaha,
very,
Omaha.
very interesting here.
I am here.
Omaha.
Sorry.
Omaha?
You know, it's actually.
Omaha? Have you looked into this
I
Omaha
have
much?
looked into it. Quick segue. You know, I'm going to Omaha in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, yeah,
For the Buffett shareholder meeting. So
Berkshire.
I'll report back
Yeah.
on OMAH, and maybe we get them to give me a shirt. I would wear it there.
Oh, that'd be sick. Show up with a OMAH. The reason I want to bring this out, big shout out to Vista Shares for sponsoring this. Of course, make sure you do your due diligence. Go into the website, go to vistashares.com, check this one out. This Omaha. I'm gonna say it that way every time, even on Spaces from now on. Omaha. This OMAH, it's basically based off of Berkshire Hathaway, and you see the heaviest weighting in here Let me zoom in, make this a little bit bigger for you guys if I can. There we go. The biggest weighting in here is 10% Berkshire Hathaway, which I'll pull up that chart next. You talk about, a guy that knows how to time the market. Warren Buffett, one of the greatest to ever do it, if not the greatest. And then a lot of his big names: Apple, American Express, Kroger, VeriSign. You see Bank of America, Coca-Cola, Visa, Citigroup in here as the heaviest weighted things. That's very, very interesting to me. And let's just look at Berkshire's chart here. Oh, not Berkshire B. I like looking at this one. Evan's he owns one share of this, if you guys didn't know. He's got
Yeah,
$800,000.
the A. Yeah, of course. That's the one I got.
BRK.B. Now I like looking at that one because of the price. But look at this chart, okay? Does this weekly chart look anything like the rest of the market?
No, other than its initial
Buffett is
dip,
heavy
yes.
cash right now, but I mean, look at this. I mean, this is I mean, here, look at the daily. Look at this 200-day. Perfect bounce off the 200-day. Reclaimed all of these moving average. Like held the 50-day here, held the 50-day again here, and now you're back over the 20-day moving average. You're almost at highs. I mean, this is almost all-time highs. And look at this. I mean, this is the chart that I get excited about because the market's been turning down, and look at what this chart's doing. That old Warren Buffett, maybe he knows what he's doing, Evan. I don't know. How long until 13F season, Evan, where we find out, maybe what Warren's been doing?
Oh, this guy Evan stinks.
Ooh, cold shoulder from Evan. He was checking his flight path to Omaha. Omaha? But yeah, definitely check that out. I just wanted to call that out because one shout out to Vista Shares for sponsoring, letting us do these streams. But I thought that was a really interesting concept. Like, hey, I love what Buffett's doing. Maybe I do want some Berkshire Hathaway, but maybe I want to diversify that a little bit further. Well, there's an ETF that literally just has all of these big names that basically Warren owns. I would be interested to know whenever those 13Fs do come out and we see, what's been bought or sold by Berkshire Hathaway, if this updates a whole lot. I would have a feeling it does. That's very interesting. Just want to put that on everyone's radar. We'll get back to some of the other
By the
charts
way,
now. If you have any more charts,
you asked me right as I walked
oh,
away.
there he goes.
About 2-3 weeks. It's a month and a half after the end of the quarter, so middle of next month. But again, this is also the holding
Okay,
as of the end of Q1, so before Liberation Day, before we got liberated.
Yeah, so it'd be interesting to see what moves Warren Buffett's making in this down market, and what value he's finding out there with all that stock value. He has enough cash to buy out, like, I don't know, was it like 400 companies or 500? Yeah, 420 companies of the S&P 500. Don't think he's going to do that, but he went cash first. Him and who else was it we had on Spaces, Evan? Was it Dan Ives that top position for this year was also cash?
Dan Niles.
That was Dan Niles. Okay, I remember it was one of the Dans. So Dan Niles is one of his top 5 positions of the year. Number 1, I believe, was cash, and then you see Warren Buffett also in cash. That was hey, I like to listen to people smarter than me that've been doing this for a long time. So definitely worth calling that out. Let's get back into some charts here. I see IONQ. We'll go with that one next. I definitely want to take a look at Bitcoin. IONQ now. Knots, you see this?
Yes, I do.
That is a beautiful hold of a 200 moving average. The red is the 200-day for those that aren't sure. There's your 200-day. The 20-day moving average is curling, and we just broke this 50-day today for the first time since back in February. Once again, this looks like a name that, I mean, it flew right with quantum computing. If you're bullish in quantum, I definitely think this name needs to be on your radar. And then just with the excitement and what this chart's doing compared to the rest of the market, once again, looks good. This looks like a relative strength name. Knots, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, again, holding that 200 is key. And honestly, really does not look that bad. Again, there is some names just like a PLTR, just like an IONQ, that is not getting fully drained, like others are. And don't get me wrong, IONQ had its drop. It really did. Um, but relative for the past, definitely over the past month, it has definitely held its own, and it hasn't really broken out upwards, but it is not breaking downwards. That's for damn sure. So definitely something to watch here. See if it can continue break over. I have a level here at 28, and see if we can get higher off of that.
Yeah, I think if this thing goes much higher, I mean, this is right at the breakout spot, right in this zone. I actually, wait, shout out to the crowd getting us some nice items for the watch list. CEM and IONQ. I think both of these need to go on a watch list for sure. Appreciate that one, Angela. Appreciate you tuning in. Everyone tuning in. I see another one here. Thoughts on Amazon? I mean, Amazon. Let's pull up the chart. Get back to my big boys up here of tech. Amazon at the 20-day. I drew this big box a long time ago. This is based off of the consolidation before. I mean, I historically, if you buy Amazon in this box, it's done well. Obviously, it dipped below, but now that reclaim this Amazon, I feel like no, I don't want to be I mean, the chart itself is a little concerning, right? Um, just where it's at based on all this consolidation. Let's see. Probably like that. I think you need to be back above this box before you really get excited. We do have what people worry about, the 50-day crossing, the 200-day, the death cross, which usually that means you're gonna bounce soon, which we kind of already are. And then I don't know. It's hard for me to get excited about this until you're over, really until you're over 200. But this 191 area is where I'm gonna be interested. Maybe for me, I mean, I bought some down here, equity wise. I think this day I was buying some Amazon here for a trade or for adding more. I would need to see something like this happen and it hold, and then I would look for a move like that. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think, Nuts? And Nuts, if you want to throw up your screen, feel free.
Yes, I have to transfer over. So Amazon, I actually have a fib. Actually, I don't. I've been drawing my own fibs, and I haven't done it in so long. I gotta just double check before I actually say that. But I did have a fib right here, where we had the low today on the daily. Um, I don't know if I'm truly correct on that, but let me go past that. On the daily, we're looking at same thing, kind of like Q's. We are just under the 21. Q's is actually just over the 21. For Amazon personally, I have been buying equity on dips on red days. I believe as a company, one, obviously it's pioneer, two, it's massive. And they're just growing. They're continuing to grow. There are so many different parts of the market. Um, Personally, I still think there is more downside in the markets. I don't think really anything has changed with the trade wars, and obviously Amazon will kind of get affected by that. Chart wise, right here, right under volume ported control on the daily, again under the 21 on the daily. So I do want to see a breakout over that to kind of be bullish. And that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah, I mean, I love the idea of having Amazon as a holding equity wise. The trade right now is tough. I mean, I do think it's going to come back up into that 200, the 191 to 200 area, to the upside, and I have trouble playing this to the downside just based on the valuation of it, based on it going way back to all this support back here. I just feel like you're fighting the wrong battle. Plus, Amazon, you mentioned this, not it checks so many boxes from what they do with obviously the monopoly side of that they almost have essentially in retail right now. Everyone orders stuff off of Amazon. Everyone I know uses Amazon, right? Then you also have Amazon Prime. You also have AWS. You have the data center thing. Maybe that's a slight like down point right now because data center, did they overspend? Like, how are things working out there? So the data center side of things that we've seen, and we'll have Google earnings tomorrow, so that'll be interesting to kind of get a read through on that. But Amazon, it just checks so many boxes for me. If they get into healthcare, there's another sector that they'll have exposure to generate more revenue. So I do think Amazon is it's something I'm long-term bullish on, something I want to continue. I love the idea of like products that I use, that I see everywhere, that I use almost every day or every week, is something that I want to be invested in. That's part of my personal strategy. There's some famous guy came up with that. I don't know. Maybe he knows what he's talking about. But either way, that Amazon for me, investment wise, yes, I'm in it. I plan to stay in it. I want exposure to Amazon no matter what. From a trade, I'm looking at it going, okay, it made a move off the lows. I mean, if you're getting aggressive, this 191 to this consolidation here, first target, second target, get to that 200-day, right at the $200 area, kind of the top of this, and then see what it's made of. If anything, like I was saying earlier, I would want it to hit here, come back and hold and test, and then I think you can take a nice trade upside. Plus, you're also almost out of this downtrend, almost out of that downtrend right there. So I like that name. Nats, I want to ask you about crypto. I know we don't talk a whole lot of crypto around here, but actually, I just want to ask you about Bitcoin. Honestly, I don't care about any of the other charts. Bitcoin, this chart, we've gone over this a couple times on this space, and we had the drawings here. I talked about this a few different ways on spaces on the stream. We had a classic Wyckoff accumulation, or I'm sorry, distribution up here, and then fell back down. The previous all-time high is essentially right here. We essentially touched it on a high volatile name. We came within $600 of it at 74K. That to me, that's close enough, right? I was bearish on Bitcoin until this played out, and then based on this look right here, I switched up and I changed my stance. Okay, long term I'm still bullish on Bitcoin, but short and medium term I was bearish. Now I'm back to I switched back to bullish last week when I saw this. So you see the 50-day coming down and acting as resistance, and then we got over it a few days in a row. And look at the 21-day. That's that yellow one. Let me just turn these off. You see the 21 curling to the upside now. There's not many charts that you're looking at right now that have a 21 daily EMA curled to the upside, right? Not.
No, there's not.
I mean, look at that. Now it's right into resistance up here. I mean, 1,000% into resistance. You cannot deny that up here you're going to hit massive resistance in this area. We also, I mean, that was basically a half back retrace here that it held. Yeah, you're right back into the box. Look, we stopped yesterday. Now we're trying to accept into it. I mean, I think if you took Bitcoin down here, this is your trim spot, and you got to wait for this higher low right in this area. Right here, I think you get back in 88. You should reject up here. You should see some profit. Now, if this thing just blows through, which Bitcoin can absolutely do, it could, but I think you hit 95, 96, you're definitely going to run into some resistance. Plus, anybody that accumulated in this entire move, they are now up very nicely, right?
I agree. I had a friend yesterday tell me he bought it at
14,
like
15%.
79 or 80, and he trimmed some off here. I mean, he was just kind of like playing it as a trade. Trimmed some off here just over 90,000 yesterday or overnight.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I mean, look, if he got in, we'll just use 80 for the easy number here. If you get in at 80, you're up 18%.
Yep.
I mean, that's a great move, right?
10,000.
I mean, I know people use tick options.
10,000 a coin.
So we did have some news behind this. Drake here in the comments is making a good point. Um, so there was some Powell news. There was also the SEC chair that got confirmed. I can't remember the name right now. Evan maybe has that handy. But that the other night being confirmed also helped pop this. But to me, before we even got any of that happening, right? If I go back to just daily EMAs and consolidation pattern, I mean just from a technical standpoint, when you broke down, right, kept breaking down, then this buy reaction and then this consolidation, I mean this basically made a flag here. So when you had this happen and then you had all this consolidation right here right at the 50-day, and you can tell it, look, it's been stuck under the 50-day from way back here in February. It rejected it again here. It was just trying so hard to get through, and look, every time it was rejecting all these top wicks, it wasn't getting pushed down. The buyers were sitting here holding it. You also had all of this area back here, buyers that had gotten in this name, or gotten in this ticker or whatever you want to call crypto, gotten in Bitcoin here. And then as soon as you got over this 50-day and you see immediate good news took you immediately where the chart should go to these equal highs and the 200-day, and then more good news follow through. Boom. It looks like, I mean, this is a beautiful breakout. Can't do anything with it here personally, but this is perfect.
Yeah, I agree.
We
NQ
talked about
just got
MSTR on
rejected.
here the other day, and we said, what's NQ doing? Still stuck here. Look at these wicks right here. You see this? Look at this right here.
Uh,
If you're looking to short this, you
it's
got to
just-
see this break. You got to see one of these wicks break down. OES is about to do it. Oh, this may be getting ready to break down. Nuts. Look at all these upper wicks in the 15 right here. Yep. Boy, good eye on that. Oh yeah, this is about to break right now. Do I chase this short? Oh my gosh, yeah, look at all this. Half back of the day, rejecting. Are they gonna save it right here? Where's my IB? Oh, not you trading anything right now?
Cold shoulder.
Yeah. Got a lot of cold shoulders today. That's fine. I'm still hanging out here. I'm tempted to trade this. I don't really like.
He just got rugs.
Maybe he was switching over to his computer. Come back, nuts. I don't know. The problem I have with this is you have all these bottom wicks here. I'll get you right back up, nuts. All these bottom wicks here, but you're starting to get these top wicks, and this trend up is starting to break.
hello.
Nuts probably.
Hello?
Nuts, did you just sprint to your computer so you could short this?
No, it was glitching out. No, I didn't, but I do want to short this now. Yeah.
Like right now?
Not like this exact
Take
second,
it down
but
80
like
points.
very, very soon. Yeah. On a bounce or a green candle.
Too late. I'm already in.
What?
If ES loses this spot right here, I think we're going down.
We're going down.
Or that's the only thing I can see saving us.
How hard do you think we're going down is the question.
Probably back to this area. Probably back down to 800.
Hey, yo.
I feel like he. Not you like the 3 minute down, or you use the 2 minute?
2 and 10, like Maple.
That was your green candle to get in.
On the 2? Oh, you're talking about that doji?
Yeah, this one. No, I don't watch the 2 minute a whole lot. That looks weird to me. Yeah, this looks terrible on the 15. There's your hanging man with your confirmation below this wick. You should come down here. 825. Maybe you get to 800, 805. All right, now it's got my attention over here on this potential trade.
Sorry.
Yeah, this looks like a trend break to me. You back test this 900, 905, you short it right here. All right, I just took a little short, or I just added a little bit in.
Did we just bounce?
Not really. There we go. There's a little bounce. Right there.
Yeah, I'm looking to nibble.
Oh, are they gonna buy this thing up though? Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
I got 2 short here into the 21 on the 2 minute.
If it goes over VWAP, I'm gonna get stoppied.
This gets over 925. I'm going to be out. I'm just going to give it only.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at.
I'm not giving it a lot. And honestly, if this gets under 900, I'm going to put a stop at 900. And just let it do its thing.
I need it to reject right here on orb low. I don't like that buy reaction, but let's see if it drops. Maybe I got a little too excited on the entry there.
I like my entry here. I got 915.75 is what I have.
All right, I added way too much in there. I'm trimming back out now to get back in a good spot.
I like that, boss man.
All right, there we go. There we go. There we go.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to cover 1 here, cover 1 here, and I'm putting my stop at 900. Bye-bye. Let me know how we
I'm
go.
going to stop at the top of that wick. Yeah, hold on. Let's see. I'm going to try to get a trim at 70.
Oh, and I got stopped. Well, that was really fucking short, but hey. Oop, sorry about that. But hey, we made over $100 there just on a quick little scalp. That's all that matters.
Yeah. I like what ES Inspire rejecting, so I'm staying in this. I'm looking to see if I can get a trim here at 75. Here, I can put this on the chart. This is what I usually do on my other live streams. My average is right here now. want to see something like this happen. I mean, this is the last spot that ES can save here, is the same area. If this breaks, this 5410, 5412, this breaks, we should see 5400 quick. And then hopefully we go test this area down here. The 90s again. It's looking okay right there.
Drop for my dog, Emperador.
Drop it low,
I did just
girl.
open a June 20th, 315 calls on gold. Just a starter, right? Like we talked about this before when we brought up the chart. Holding the 9 EMA on the daily. On mine personally, we also have an algo trend line right near there. So, this just seems like a really good entry to open a swing, 2 months out. So I'm going to do that, look for a play up, and, take some off and just let it ride.
CLD.
GLD.
We see this 297, I'll be interested. What does that look like since it looks bear flaggy, but it's holding. Evan's protesting our stream because we just shorted. All right, come on, give me a tremor at 75, 76, and then again at 70, and then we can be a lot more comfortable.
I'm just listening.
I was gonna say you're protesting us for being short. Evan hates the Bears, even though there's one in his picture. I think the Bulls winning in your picture.
I think it's safe to say he's on top.
Come on, drop it. I do like the low of day on QQQ though, on the daily chart. I mean, that'll be an easy watch for tomorrow. I wonder if we'll get continuation off of this move today. Like we were saying earlier at the beginning of the stream, I would love to see this. I'm just playing this intraday short-term price action here. Oh, I see Mitch in the comments here. Knots, do you have your screen up?
I do not. Hold on.
That's no problem. Uber. Mitch wants Uber. I like Uber. I am long Uber. This is one of the first names I bought. I bought this back in December. Bill Ackman buying it after me definitely helped the case here. I bought it down here like 62, 61. I added a little bit the other day on the same dip to that same area. Talking about charts that are over their 200-day, over all their moving averages. I'm not a big fan of this candle today, to be 100% honest, but it basically gap filled and it's holding for now. But I like Uber. I don't think Uber's going anywhere. I think Uber's in a position to be very powerful. The amount of data they have on people, for one, how connected people are, and they're a verb. Uh, Anything that becomes a verb, I have trouble not being somewhat bullish on that company. When people talk about Googling something, like I know AI is around, but I don't think people are just going to stop Googling. I definitely don't think people are going to stop Ubering. I mean, how many times do you hear people say, "I'm going to catch a cab," or like, "Well, let me get a lift," or something? No,
It's an
it's
Uber.
like, "I'm going to Uber over there. Let me get my Uber from the airport." Like, people will even use the term Uber if they're taking a different mode. Like I've heard people say, "Oh, let me call an Uber," and then like they're like, Order a Lyft because it's cheaper or something," but they still use the term Uber. Uber Eats, like, I mean, yeah, DoorDash is a competitor, but Uber Eats, it's all in one spot. I'm a big fan of Uber. Bill Ackman obviously sees something there. I think the rideshare thing's gonna come. Here we go. Now I'm getting my, there we go, knots. I just got my next trim.
Beautiful.
My average is incorrect on here. I need this thing to just flush though, and not stop buying it up off this 75. I like the look of this to come lower though in the 15-minute for sure. Yeah, look at SPY. Yeah, look at that. That rejected the IB low and the orb low right there. Oh, I was trying to mute and I turned off my camera. Yeah, this is looking good for a move down here. Let's see, NQ.
That's really weird, actually. Funny enough,
Yeah, I want to see
that
800
2 second favorite
for
part of
my
the
main target here. Nuts, did you get back in, or you just took your little scalp and got
No,
out?
I didn't get back in. I did not get back in.
Come on, flush it, flush it. EMA is turning down, rejected VWAP and orb. It's hanging in here though. Nvidia's coming under VWAP right now. Like I said, this is the last sticky area. Look at this, 410 to 412 on ES over here on the right side of my screen. This is the area that has to break. Where's SPY? Taiwan Semi cutting edge A14 chip tech to start production in 2028. Nuts. Shout out to you for putting this short on my radar here.
Listen, I do it for the
I was deep
I
in the
do it for the
charts.
people. You got me. You got me. What was it? I know the company. General. No. What the hell is it? The generator company? What is it?
I just trimmed at 870 right there, 30-point gain or so from my average.
Can you
My
hear
average
me?
ended up being like
Can you hear
896,
me
so it was
again?
at 25 points.
Oh,
Yes, yes, sorry. You were talking about what was that? That was the first stream we did. It was
yeah.
GE.
Oh yeah. No, was it G?
General Electric. Yeah,
Oh,
GE.
it wasn't. Yeah.
It was GE. It was this day right here.
Damn.
So we saw this candle right here
Yeah, that
engulf.
fugly.
All right, hold on. I am in this trade right now. I've got one more trim sitting down at We're at 52. Front running that 50 or 53. We'll put it at 53. Here we go. Come on, come on, come on. A little bit lower. My trim's right here. Oh my God, take my order. 53.
Take it.
There it was. Okay. It's about 40 something points. I'm looking for 800 next. I'm not going to trim again. Ah, it stinks. I owe you lunch.
Send it my way, baby. I'm ready.
Need to move the stop down. That's how I was texting you earlier. I had trading 3 accounts today. 2 of them were very green, and one of them was slightly red. That red one is now green, thanks to you.
Good. Very happy to hear. You help me, I help
Look at
you.
that teamwork.
That's how it should always be.
Hey, you scratch my back, I scratch your
Yeah.
back.
You better scratch
Capiche?
it good though. I'm itchy.
We'll go for a couple more minutes here. I do have to open up stocks on spaces. For Power Hour, that was a good trade right
Beautiful.
there. Now we really just need this thing to rug down.
It's always nice when we get some trades on here.
Yeah, you never know. Middle of the day, middle of the afternoon, you never know. But I was watching that trend line. You see I drew it here. I was watching that. You were calling out some of the rejection up here. I saw that. I got in a little early. I had to add in on the way up there a little bit to get my average in a good spot, but worked out pretty nicely.
Do you really think we drain now?
I have a level on SPY right here. I don't know how far, but I do think if this breaks here, I think we go back to the lows.
So 770,
If
760,
we don't hold,
750, whatever it is here.
yeah, if we don't hold here, the ES looks worse. If ES doesn't hold this 5400 right here, I think we definitely go back down into this area. I don't think we're gonna go fill this gap today, unless we get some kind of crazy news catalyst. Like they may stick save it here. That's why we trim along the way. My stop down and profit. I can just take this off. My stop is like right here. I don't want it to go over this. Honestly, if it goes higher than 890, I want to go ahead and take it off because this is a big reaction. Needs to reject here on ES. What is this level? 896. I may just go ahead and cut it here because did what I wanted to do for this trade. We'll see. I'm just gonna tighten up the stop. See if it stops me out here at the EMA 9. Not you got any other swing trades or anything on your radar that you're watching as we kind of get towards the end of the screen or the end of the stream? Not, so you just leave me and go make a sandwich. Just looking at some news from Evan. Elon Musk and Scott Bessent reportedly got into a heated shouting match in earshot of President Trump and other officials in the White House last week during a dispute about the IRS.
Heyo.
Let's go.
Down goes the the U.S. government.
Oh, we're still in the trade over here.
Yeah,
Let's
rejected the
go.
9, almost tapped the 21 on the 2-minute. Hit the VPOC of that too, and just weaker. So got a nice 30-point bounce, and you could have shorted it and now be up 24 points.
Yeah, look at that EMA 9 right there, rejected right where it needed to. I just don't know if it's going to be able to get through this candle. We'll see. I mean, you could kind of call this it's a not really a head and shoulders, kind of wonky. But this little M shape right here, probably going to play out back, when you get this M shape like this, usually you play back out like that. Don't always have to, but pretty common. Yeah, but not to you. I was trying to ask you. I think you went and grabbed a salami sandwich or something.
Pretty close.
I was
I
trying
got
to
a
ask you.
slice of ham.
Oh, I was close out. Dude, that was a complete shot in the dark there. No, I was asking you, are you swinging anything right now, or do you have any spreads or anything
I
on?
do have spreads. I have a put and a call spread. My call spreads are clean. My put spread is pretty clean. It's $7 lower. Other than that, I did open that gold long that I just told you guys about a few minutes ago, the June 20th 315 calls. And that's about it. I'm just that's literally it.
I've closed out pretty much everything I have on the options. I do have a slight SPY hedge on still, 500 puts for end of the week, just in case things get wild the next day or two. Obviously that's down, but that's the whole point of a hedge, right? Because I'm net long in the account. The only trade I really did was that GLD put. That was the only setup I really liked. I don't know, swing trading is so tough right now. But I'll trade these futures anytime.
Anytime.
This just looks bad.
It does.
This looks bad. All right. I think we're at a pretty good spot here. I do want to shout out Vista Shares once again. Omaha! Omaha!
Omaha.
Shout out Peyton Manning too. No, shout out Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett and Peyton, two goats right there. Warren Buffett and Peyton Manning both getting shout outs on our stream. Shout out to you, Nuts. Let's throw three goats in there. But yeah, definitely check out OMAH if you're a fan of Warren Buffett. Obviously, he's one of the most successful investors of all time. This from Vista Shares, this OMAH ETF, Omaha. That is it's based on Omaha. For those that maybe are confused, Omaha is the headquarters of Berkshire Hathaway. Evan's actually going to go to that shareholder meeting in a few weeks out there in Nebraska. And that's where the name comes from. That's where OMAH comes from. And of course, once again, you can check out all these holdings. It's based on the top holdings of Berkshire Hathaway, who is greatly outperforming the market this year, as we showed earlier on the charts. And with that said, oh, why am I big? Let's see. Knots, that's a beautiful profile picture you have there.
Thank you.
You know, as soon as I did that, I should be showing the chart breakdown right now. Anyways, shout out to everyone. I saw a bunch of people in the comments. Appreciate everyone that joined in. We try to do this every Wednesday, midweek market update. Big update today with when I say big update, I mean the Market was up pretty big today. Hopefully they give it back here. IWM, new low of day. Uh-oh. As we close out the stream and go into power hour, new low of day on IWM. Boy, it looks like a lot of things are rolling over. Walmart's red now. Costco's red. Close the market. Just close it. Just close it. Close it down here. Actually, no, you can keep it going for my short here on NQ. All right, Knots, I appreciate you joining. Casey was at the dentist today, couldn't make it. Evan stopped by the stream. Shout out to all the people in the chat. I know we had several people: Drake, Shine, Pips, Angela, Magic was in here, Kevin, Danielle asked a question earlier, had a chart for us. Remember those TEM? Tempest AI and IONQ. We've got to keep those on our
Yes, we
mind,
do.
Knots, because both of those charts looked very, very interesting. So shout out to all the people in the chat. Thanks everyone that tuned in. Over 12,000 people tuned in today. Appreciate everyone. Knots, any final words to
No,
leave
that's
with the
basically it.
crew?
I hope everyone has a great rest of their week. Trade smart. I mean, again, look at today. We talked about this earlier on. Be careful of any headlines. We have no clue when they're coming. So size appropriately for every trade. Be ready to close out every trade or have a stop loss. And I hope everyone has a great week, great weekend, and let's kill the rest of the week.
Absolutely. What a great way to end it. Great thoughts there, Knots. Appreciate you joining. Appreciate everyone tuning in. We will see you guys on the next stream. And right now, I'll be over on Stocks on Spaces. I just got stopped out of my runner. Perfect timing. All right. Later, everyone.